We got a Holden Cruze in the shop today. It came in with a engine misfire. You can hear it, you can feel it. It's a dead miss. I will get you the shot and let you hear guys hear how the engine sound. You can hear the engine not happy. You can see this engine is very shaky. It's definitely got a misfire. We're going to diagnose this today. Alright, this design, this whole piece is ignition coil. Obviously it sits under this cover. There's a plug at the very end of it, and there's a few wires going in. I'll get you the shot of the wires in a second. Alright, we're just going to unplug this connector here at the very end. So we got total of 6 wire going into this coil. So basically this design, how it works is you're going to have a power and an earth. So this very end one is a 12 volt feed and an earth, and the rest is for control for the coils coming from the computer. So 1 wire every cylinders. So basically what I'm going to do is quickly check if this ignition coil is good. So I got my probe for the oscilloscope. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto this wire, back probe it. So it doesn't matter which wire. There's 4 control wire. I'm just going onto the control side of the wiring. So it doesn't matter. I don't know which cylinder to which, because this is one unit. So the whole 4 coils is on that one block. So I'm just going to go one by one, see which one is not doing its job. So I'm going to go on this blue and a violet wire, the first one. And I'm just going to plug this back into the coil. And now I'm going to start the car and I'll show you what it looks like on the screen. Alright guys, I got my scope set up on the screen. I just selected the primary ignition voltage. I'm at 20 volt, 20 kV. I might probably bring it down to about 50. I'll bring it up to about 50 kilovolts per division, so I'll see the whole picture on the screen. I'm just going to start the car and let you guys see what that waveform look like. So I'm just going to set my triggers. I think my triggers is out of its boundaries, so I'm just going to set my trigger up so I'll get the picture. I'll move this up a bit. Alright guys, there you have it. I'm just going to change that to on this picture you can see we got the 12 volt coming in. We got our ignition control, pulling it to ground, so we know the computer is controlling this coil, and we get this large voltage spike that suggests this coil is making magnetic field, making its magnetic field. But I don't like this line. See how this one just slopes down back to 12 volt again? I don't see any activity happening here. I don't like it, but I'm gonna change this my probe to a different cylinder wire now and see what it looks like. Alright, there you go. I like that picture a bit better because you can see, same thing again, 12 volt coming in. The computer is trying to control this ignition coil. You can see the turn on time from there to there. Its computer is basically grounding that 12 volt. So we got the last spike. That means the ignition coil is making the magnetic field, the charge. And now you can see the firing line, and this is the leftover charge where you can see all this oscillation at the end. So then it turns back to 12 volts. So basically this is how a typical ignition coil should look like. But I'll take this shot on that last waveform and we'll discuss about it. Alright, I'm back to that cylinder, which I suspect is not doing its job. So basically, looks like it's trying to make the voltage for the spark, but for some reason it's not showing us a typical ignition picture. So just by looking at that picture, I know the coil is bad, and plus we need to change the whole 4 coil because it's one block, so I don't have a choice and I can't pull it apart to fix it. So we got no choice, but just by looking at this ignition waveform, I can tell this coil is bad. So if I have to, I really need to see what actually happening inside that coil, but to me it looks like it's shorted internally because it's making a spike, making its voltage, but it's not firing into the cylinder. I get you the shot of the good cylinder, good coil, and that will be it for today, guys. That's how a typical waveform should look like for ignition. There you have it, guys. It needs a new ignition.